It is mid-February and I am just making this video right now. This was supposed to be published right after New Year's, sometime in the beginning of January, but I just kind of procrastinated a little bit. And also, life happens and sometimes you can't do anything about that. So here we are, 2026, and I want to go over some of my artworks that I've done in 2025. I think this will be a fun video to show you what I've been working on. Sometimes these artworks, we're done with them and then we kind of forget about them. So I think it's good to do like a review, once a year or maybe a couple of times a year of like the projects that you've done and kind of like look at your artwork. 'Cause sometimes I'll be painting some things and I'll be painting something and I really don't like it, but just after a few months, I review it. It's somewhere in the bottom of my shelf, and I'm like, oh, wow, this is like a really cool drawing. Like, why didn't I finish that? But that's kind of a different point. What I'm looking for is like that appreciation of all the things that, you've done. I also want to go over some of like mistakes that I made, and maybe something that I would do differently next year, this year, 2026. So let's get started, okay? So I was finishing up in 2025, January, I was finishing up this tropical composition. It was based off of this photograph that I took in Hawaii while me and my husband were visiting my friend. This was a painting that I first started at this studio. It was my first space. And as you could see, there's like this weird locker cage thing that I used to um, store my supplies, my canvases and paints and stuff. It's pretty empty right now because I was at the very beginning. I just started renting. But yeah, um, this painting came out of course, the photograph, but I started a sketch first and I really enjoyed making it. I thought, it had really cool shapes and just a really intriguing composition with like the leaves making like semicircles, but then you have these branches going through across, and the colors, of course. So I found it really interesting and I wanted to pursue it as a bigger painting. And since I got this new space, while I was working here in my apartment in my living room, I couldn't really paint large paintings. So I was like, I'm gonna go for it. Um, this is a 22 by 30 inches canvas. So I was very excited. This is the beginning. This is kind of the progress. I decided to paint the edges bright orange, as you could see here, kind of maybe when I zoom in. And I think I did that because there's oranges, an orange color in the composition itself. So I wanted for it to like peek through, not like some of the areas that I was painting over the orange color. And then, it would kind of come through in the leaves. I think it was just complementing, the paint, um, and the colors in the paintings. This is almost finished. As you can see, I'm like in this co-working space. And then I did a little photo shoot to, of course, post on my website. It's still on there. It has not sold yet. If you wanted to purchase it, it's there. So yeah, this was basically I finished this in the beginning of January 2025. Yeah, and it was a fun project. I really enjoyed it. It took me a long time. It took me at least a couple of months to paint, but yeah, it was fun. I really wanted to do it. The next thing I did was this sketch of orchids. Um, I really like this composition, circular and Um, the orchids kind of like popping out of the circle. And I started painting and sketching. But something happened. Something I didn't like something about this, I remember. And this was kind of the idea, but I don't think I've ever finished it. Oh, and here's I did also like a photo shoot in New York City of this previous composition. It was a lot of fun. I really liked how it said "I love New York." I caught that moment. Um, so yeah, this is just a screenshot of a video, I think. And this is the photo shoot that I did. Oh, and here's another composition that I made and I didn't finish. So I think I am going to attempt to finish it at some point because I do like it. I think I like it even more than the circular one. I like this little gecko. So yeah, so the second project that I did not finish. This is going to be a theme here, so you'll see later on. So this is the second thing I did not finish. And then this is just a sketchbook. I don't know, for some reason I was obsessed with this orchid. Again, a picture that I took in Hawaii. Um, this is some of the process photos. And then I moved on to another big project that took me a couple months. The orchids, Cattleya orchids, I believe. Um, and this was a big process. I started off with a small sketch, then I think I worked in Photoshop. Basically, I enlarged the sketch and I traced it, then I traced it onto the paper. So it was complicated. It took me a lot of hours just to trace it onto the large watercolor paper. And here are a couple of photos. This was in like late February, maybe beginning of March. Me and my friend went to botanical gardens in New York, in the Bronx, and they have yearly they have like an orchid show, and it was really beautiful. I wanted to go there to get some inspiration, take some photos, and I actually ended up with quite a lot of photos that I thought initially I was going to use for inspiration and some paintings, which I'm still going to do that. But a lot of them actually turn out so beautiful that I was like, well, might as well just sell those photographs as, like photo prints. So I have that as well on my website. I'm selling them on my website. But yeah, it was a beautiful, beautiful show. I think this year I'm going to go as well. Now, these photos are just I took with my iPhone, but they came out so beautiful. And the ones that I have on my website are um, made on a professional camera. So back to these orchids, I started sketching the colors, technique. I took some notes of like where things are gonna go, like what I'm gonna use and how I'm gonna approach this. I really like the sketch itself. Like I think it's like an artwork in itself. It came out pretty cool. Um, and this is the beginning, the process of it. This was I'm trying to go through, right? Like January, February, I started this project. First layer of watercolor. And you see these blue um, marks. That's just, forget what it's called, but it's like basically it covers up the area that you don't want the paint to go. And when you take it off, you could just use an eraser. It's kind of gluey texture, and then you have like those lightest spots on your painting, and you don't have to use white. Um, so I used that for the middle of the flowers. And yeah, I really enjoyed the process. I actually even liked how it looked as that initial first layer of paint. I think I could have just left it this way, right? It's pretty cool looking. But of course, I couldn't stop myself. I have to work on the details and get more paint flowing on the paper. So I started working on the details so you could see the contrast between the top and the bottom. It's more saturated. It's very contrasty, right? It's like really popping. So again, you'll see the progress here, what I made, and I like this. I do like this version of it, like the first layer versus the detail layer. I like both versions. Um, and then I decided to add. Actually, that was my afterthought after almost finished that I wanted to include the leaves. So I did that, and this is pretty much the end result. It came out really nicely. I framed it for an exhibition, and then I started working on another orchid. I really like this composition. I call it like the dancing orchids. They're kind of like making a circle and they're like really funky, with their petals. Um, oh, this is just, oh my God. This is so out of a sudden, right? Like this guy here with the cigarette. I made this, I think it was just probably, sometimes I like doodling faces when I'm on the phone, when I'm talking to my friends, or when I'm on the phone talking. And if I have a pen and paper, I'll start doodling some random faces. But this guy is just right behind me, um, on this little paper. Yeah, and I made his lips red. I don't know if you could see it, but yeah, I'm gonna keep him for a little bit. So back to the orchids. Oh my God, this painting gave me a headache. Even though I was like so excited to get something new going, right? Because I just been working like on these big paintings that are taking me a couple of months, just focusing on one thing. Sometimes you can go crazy. Um, and so I was like, okay, I'm starting something new, starting another large format. And um, because this is the mistake that I made that I don't want to make in 2026. Basically, what I kept doing in 2025, I was so eager, I guess I was so excited to have a new space that I just wanted to create. And I was creating without any plan, which is fine. You're just experimenting, you're having fun. But I do need some structure, I think. Like for me, um, I am most happy when a project comes together and it has, I have everything planned out, materials, the size. I kind of have like a little bit of structure, and something always will happen in the middle of it and in the process, and it might look different than what you had in your head, but at least it's kind of following those guidelines, and that's what I like. I like a little bit of structure. And kind of in 2025, I was so excited to just like make something. I had no structure. I was just picking up stuff and making stuff, and then I didn't like the stuff. And with this particular painting, I wasn't planning well, and it's just like the paint wasn't flowing the way that I wanted it to flow. The paper wasn't working with me. I um I stopped and started this painting 3 times. Yes, 3 times. And I was like at the end of it, I was so done with it. I was so done with this painting. I'll show you the end result. And I never want to do that again. I never want to do that again. I need to remember that planning, sketching, experimenting, like this is something I can probably do at home in my free time. And then maybe the studio will be a place where I get to do the real thing and paint. Um, and yeah, I think experimenting and deciding on those things is very important. So I want to do that more. I want to plan more, experiment more. So when I'm translating this into a bigger painting, I know what I'm doing. Like I've already tested the paper, already tested the pencils, I've already tested the paint. It's not like I'm just testing it out on this large piece of paper that's supposed to be the final thing. So, and sometimes it does work out like this way of working, and sometimes it doesn't. I wasn't happy with the results that I was getting the first time, second time, and finally the third time I learned my lesson. And even the third time, there were some things that I was like, I don't really like the way this looks, but just have to live with it now and learn from my mistakes. This is just a photograph from the exhibition that I was a part of. I think it was in March. And this is the frame Cattleya orchids. Oh, this this is of course not something that I painted, but I wanted to share. I picked up this card, and I think like bar card. I think it's usually used for alcohol and stuff, but I thought it would be really cool to use it for my paints when I'm painting. Just kind of have it rolling around in my studio. So I got this off of Facebook Marketplace. Okay, back to the orchids. They were giving me trouble. Okay, so this is the first version of it. I didn't like it. Something was off. Yeah, I think the long petals, the layering was so bad. The layering of this was so bad. I don't know what I was thinking. Again, this comes down to planning and thinking it over, thinking how the watercolor behaves. Because I think I was probably still in that maybe I was still thinking of like acrylics and stuff. Sometimes when I switch between materials, I need that adjustment time. Yeah. So anyway, this was not going the way that I wanted to go. So I started another one. A little bit crispier composition, it was looking better. And then the first layer I was really happy with, and I figured out the long petals. It was looking better, as you can see here. But then something happened, okay? It went, even though you might not see it now, but it went really, really dark. For some reason, the colors were coming out really muddy. And, the more paint I would put on, the more grayer muddy would get. And I was just not happy with that result. So of course I started over, and this is when I sketched um the main petal, the middle petal, and I was like, wow, this is what this is what I had in mind. This is what I was envisioning. So I actually like taped the one that I just made to my second painting, and you could see here like the difference between the techniques. The one on the left is more of like a wet on wet, and it became really muddy. And then this one is like layering one by one, which I think I prefer. So, yeah, this took me a long time. It says here that it's already June 2025. So we're fast forwarding from probably March. I started this in March to June, and see, I'm still working on the same painting because I started it over like a couple of times. Um, it's still the process. It's summertime. Still working on this. This is the old one, and this is the new one. So much better. Oh my God. I was so much happier with this result. And some of you will like this version. I know that everybody has a different, style, and they might like this darker version. But yeah, this is totally me. Maybe it's that graphic designer in me that I need things to be more crispier and defined. So this is a little bit more of the process. And for this one, I decided to not paint leaves, but have like a blend of colors in the background, like an ombre that goes from one color to the other. I think it was green, and then it goes into like, reddish color. So I taped up the my motifs, my orchids, and started painting. And that was a nightmare as well. That was not fun. It took me a while to get things the way that I wanted them. But this is the final painting, and this is July. Okay, so this is just the second painting that I no third painting that I finished that year. So yeah, slow process. So then I was like, okay, I really want to. It's a little blurry. I don't know why. Start maybe go back to like small things. So I don't know why this is not. Oh, airplane. Okay, let's switch off the airplane mode so I can connect. I put the airplane mode so I don't want anybody to, because I'm recording on my iPad and my iPhone. I don't want anything unable to download photo. Great. Okay. Um, Anyways, having some technical difficulties here. There's another photo here of the same project. So I started with hibiscus flower and didn't finish it again. I just was playing around with this idea, and I don't know, I didn't like the layering, and it was too much. It was very busy, and this is not what I was going for, and I kind of abandoned that idea. So third abandonment. And then so I have these like I got these new like oil paints that you can mix with water. They're called Cobra paints. So I decided to paint 4 orchids in this composition but different colors. This was just like an experiment, just something fun. And this something fun actually turned out to a real project. And these are the paintings that I'm selling on my website as well. I really enjoyed painting with the Cobra paints. Oh, and this is a frame print that my friend got from me. She just showed it to me. This is another sketch that I made of like this similar composition in watercolor. And these are the oils. This is the process of painting with those Cobra oils. It was a lot of fun. I really do like using them. I don't want to be dealing, I do have like some autoimmune stuff, so I don't want to be exposed to too many chemicals. I'm even considering like not using varnish because of that. Um, but yeah, I'm just trying to eliminate any type of chemicals in my life right now. So um, basically, I think Cobra paints are good for me and I like using them. They do feel like real oil paint. Um, yeah, and so I finished this painting. It's available. It was painted on this acrylic and oil paper from Paper Concepts. Concept. This is a store in Europe. It's not in the US. I got this when I was visiting Poland. And then I started the blue one, the second one. You could see side by side. I really liked it. This one is a little bit more expressive. Uh, the red one feels more blended, and this one is more defined. And then I don't know why I started this painting. Um, yeah, I don't remember, but I started this and I didn't finish it as well because I just didn't like how it was going. So this is like the fourth thing that I did not finish. Not good, guys. This that again, it was not planned. I was so excited. I was like, it was very spontaneous. I was like, okay, I want to paint something on this wooden panel. And um I still, it's not lost, I guess, because I can still go back to it. I can still revisit it. I can always repaint this wooden panel. But this is something, again, that I do not want to do in 2026. And so far, I haven't shown anything that I made on, unless follow me on Instagram, but not on here, not on YouTube. But so far, I've been successful with that, just like planning and sketching. And um, yeah, it's working for me now. I'm more calm. I'm in the studio. I've gotten used to the studio vibes, and I'm more relaxed now. I've calmed down a little bit. So these are the oil paintings, a mix of this painting. Yeah, there was something off with this. I guess I didn't like the colors or something. And it was, honestly, it was so hard to paint with this like really like bright neon pink, and looking at it, it was tough. I still want to try it though, because I've seen people painting on like really, the background is like neon colors. Um, but it was actually hard. It's not that easy, just looking at this like bright pink color. So yeah, so for a moment there, we saw a lot of orchids. Now we're seeing a lot of hibiscus. This was my third one that I finished, purple and yellow neon color. This one I think is my favorite. I like neon colors. And then I was like, let me translate this to a bigger canvas. The same composition, same hibiscus, and it was looking really good for a while, guys. It was really like I was really happy with it. And the no planning thing kind of bit me in the butt again. And it was just, I know I sound like maybe I'm too hard on myself, but I know I keep telling myself these are just experiments. I was just experimenting, and it's fine. And it's something that I can come back to it. I can repaint this. Um, it just has a different vibe to what I normally do. And I think maybe that's why it's kind of scary, and I'm kind of afraid to move forward with it. I don't know. These were acrylics. This is a small sketch that I did. Um, just again trying something out with paint. I think this was acrylics. Yeah, acrylics as well. Just I wanted to see how it would look like to paint on a dark background. So first kind of outlining the flower in all darker colors, and then painting on top of it with lighter colors. And I really like that effect. I think some people do use this technique really well, and I was just trying it out. Okay, hold on. I lost my photo. Where is it? Okay, so this is the end result, and it looked really good. I like it. It's really cute. It's sitting in my studio. I did not posted it on. I don't think I posted this on Instagram, nor I uploaded it onto my website, but maybe I should and sell it. If anybody wants it, I'm selling it. So with this one, I got really upset and angry, and I decided to just paint over this. Yeah, I was done with this. Oh, and I totally forgot, I did do a commission. I think this was August. It was end of summer. I did this commission. Um, yeah, it was a lot of fun, landscape, and I haven't done a landscape in a really long time, so I was a little scared, but at the same time, very excited for this new project. So it was fun. I think I would love to do that more. If I think I might open up some commissions maybe this year for any florals or landscapes. I think they're like really fun to do. um yeah, the client was very happy. I believe this is the end result. the finished painting. Okay. Um, and then I printed some photographs for there was a big market going on in my neighborhood, and this is where I got the idea of printing the photographs that I've taken at the botanical garden. So this is one of them. I love this one. This is my favorite one. This is another beautiful one, but they're all up on my website. I think I'm going to improve the presentation of it because I think it feels very cold. I want to take some real life photographs of these photographs so you could see it. Right now I use some AI images for like mock-ups and stuff, but I don't think it looks as, I don't know, as inviting. Like, I don't know if I would want to buy it because you can't really see them. Like, I think these are actually better photos of those photos than the ones that I have on the website of like the actual prints of how they look like, because then you can see the quality, and the quality is really good because I use the best paper, German etching, from Hachnemühl, German company, and I like the texture of it. That's why I buy the German etching. This, oh my God. So I moved to another studio. Okay. So first I was in that locker thing with the co-working. Then I had a little bit of like a semi-private studio, and now it's more of a private studio. Still not private because the walls are not all the way up, like there's still a gap, so you could see on the photo. But I can close the door. Nobody can see me, and I can just work in there. And this was a photo I wanted to share and include in this video because I was really excited. So this is how it looked when it was all bare. And here's when I was just moving in, just a few of my things, putting stuff together. And that was that. We're coming up, guys. Like this is almost the end because this is I moved in November. Yeah, it was November 1st that I moved. So we're almost at the end. I didn't make a lot of stuff, like finished projects. I made 3 large paintings and then some experiments in between. So I did not make a lot. And I think the large format, I kind of got it out of my system. I'm moving to not a small format and not a large format, but a medium format. Somewhere around 16 by 16, 11 by 14. I want to make artworks that are more accessible and easier and faster to make. So I can present them. I can show you guys what I could do. I can show the world what I could do, because if I'm just focusing on one thing at a time and it's like a large format and it's taking me a long time, then it's fun, but yeah, I want to show more. I want to do more and show more, and I need a smaller format for that so it doesn't take too much time on my time. And this is the end. This is the December. This is the first sketch that I started in my new studio. Um, Going back to orchids. This is I said this before, bulbophyllum orchid, and I made a couple of sketches. So this is I'm learning from my mistakes. I'm testing out the paper. I'm testing out the colors, markers, all the things, all the idea that I have in my head. And I think I made 4 sketches. I again wanted to include some neon colors. And it was going in the same direction. Every sketch was the same. It was like just repeating, maybe um, changing like small things. And then finally, Geico that I was just sketching. This was for like open studios. I sketched a couple of things, painted a couple of things. Yeah, this was for open studios, monmondesigns. So finally, I came up with this composition, and I was like, after doing something over and over again, and I was so sure that I was going to go with this composition because I painted it, like sketched it 4 times. This is what I ended up with because it finally like clicked in my brain that I want it to be like more funky. I want the petals to be kind of like dancing and inviting and kind of like swirling. So this is what I ended up with, and kind of, yeah, I think this is it. This is the last thing that I made. This is almost the beginning of January, so this is kind of the last thing that I wanted to share because I don't want to cheat. This is 2026 now, so it's not really 2025. It's something that I started, and it's now something that I'm working on in 2026. I want to finish this. And it's almost finished. It's almost finished, guys. I need to show you this. But yeah, this is it. This is what I made in 2025. My lesson for 2026 is to be more patient, plan better, um, sketch, and experiment, and yeah, just be more patient with myself, and just not jump into things too quickly. And in 2026, again, I just want to make more stuff, so I gotta come down from the bigger format to more medium format, so I can produce more work. So yeah, that's my plan for 2026. And I know it's kind of like, it seems like an abrupt ending, but I hope you really enjoyed this video. You enjoyed seeing my work. Please visit my website, my Instagram, subscribe to this channel, and leave a comment below. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.